Everybody, welcome to the 2025 NL West preview. This is Deej here with my brother Smokey. What's up, Smokey?
Hey, doing well. How about you, Deej?
I am rocking and rolling. All right, let's talk about these. Speaking of rocking and rolling, let's talk about the Colorado Rockies. The Rockies were awful last year. They lost 101 games. Let's look over this lineup. We got Nolan Jones in left, a one-time Cleveland prospect, had a very good rookie season. Kind of fell off after that. Brenton Doyle, solid guy in center there. Chris Bryant, who knows if he's ever going to be healthy. Ryan McMahon, excellent third baseman. Kyle Farmer, longtime utility guy, solid bench guy. Jacob Stallings, I always liked him. He's a solid catcher. But by and large, this is not going to be one of those teams that scores a lot of runs. They haven't really made any improvements. I'm not seeing much here at all. What do you think, Smokey?
It's pretty poor. I don't like pretty much any of the positions. I mean,
Yeah,
Stallings. I guess Taglia,
yeah.
probably the
Tolia
first
had
baseman.
some.
Maybe Bryant.
Yeah,
Um, I guess their best player is Ezekiel Tovar,
yeah. He's good. He's good.
and
Forgot about him.
he seems to be banged up right now. He's got some triceps issues, so not a great lineup.
Yeah, and they do have a few good players, so it's not hopeless. But they really haven't done anything to improve. And yeah, in a place like Coors Field, you should be scoring a lot of runs. And if you're not, even close to the top half in runs scored in the league, then you're doing something wrong. All right,
I agree.
what about this rotation? They've had some of these guys for a while: Marquez, Freeland, Senzatella, Gomber. They got some guys that can kind of make it work in at Coors Field. It's not a good rotation, but it's not awful. I think they have these guys that just can kind of make it work. They're not going to get torched up. Like, remember in the '90s and 2000s when the Rockies signed guys like Daryl Kyle, Mike Hampton, Denny Nagel, and they all just put up 6 ERAs. They just could not do it at Coors Field, and then they left and they were good again. These are guys who are able to put up good seasons at Coors. They're never going to sign a good, like, no free agent with a brain and anything resembling an excellent career will ever sign in Colorado for any amount of money. It's just not worth it. So let's say if you kind of consider the type of rotation the Colorado Rockies possibly could have, it's not a bad rotation, but globally speaking, it's not a good rotation. I don't know. What are you looking at here, Smokey?
I've always been very confused about Colorado and how they should have a very big home field advantage. It feels like you have to pitch differently there. The ball goes further. It doesn't break as much. It doesn't do what it normally does, and they should have a big home field advantage, and they just never do. It's really bizarre. And for whatever reason, they don't seem to be able to capitalize on it unless they have really good hitters, and they don't.
Yeah, I mean, when you think about the two times the Rockies were really good, mid '90s, they had Larry Walker, Ellis Burks, Dante Bichette, Andres Galarraga, Vinny Castilla. That was all about the boppers. And then in '07, the Rocktober team with like Holiday and those guys. They were both offensive teams, and But I mean, I kind of see what they're doing here. If they get good infield defense and ground ball pitchers, that might be what works at Coors Field. But at the end of the day, you got to do something different if you lose 101 games. And yeah, I don't think this is going to be like their biggest weakness, but it's just not really looking like it's gonna get them out of the hole either. Um, so let's look at this bullpen. A bunch of no-namers. I mean, I've heard of Gilbrath, Hergé, Victor Vodnik. That's an 80 grade name. I love that name. That's like the name of the bad guy in Rocky and Bullwinkle or something. Yeah, just not a good bullpen either. I don't know. What do you think? Anything to say about these guys?
Nothing. I don't recognize any of those names. If they were bad, I would not be shocked.
Yeah. Yeah, this unfortunately the Rockies are, I would say, 95% of people would predict them to finish in last place again. I don't know, how many wins do you see for these Rockies?
55.
55 wins. Yeah, I'll take the over just because of regression to the mean. But yeah, they're gonna lose. I'll say 58 wins for the Rockies. I think they will.
Very generous at the very, very tough division.
Yeah, especially when you consider what some of the other teams have done. All right, let's take a look at the Giants. So the Giants they've been mediocre for a while now. They're never bad, but they just haven't really. I think they think they can recapture that early 2010s magic where they won the three rings in a 4 year period there from 2010 to 14, and just like they just caught lightning in a bottle. Then like they need to do something different. They locked up Matt Chapman, one of the best defensive third basemen and a guy that can hit 30 dingers. Certainly a very good player. They signed Willie Adames, of course. Great shortstop, another 30 dinger guy, great glove. So that left side of the infield is actually really good. Patrick Bailey at catcher, kind of an underrated catcher. He's really good too. Yaz in right, and then you kind of drops off after that. I'm not super in love with any of these guys. Fitzgerald, Lamont Wade, Lee, Ramos. So I think they got a good heart of the order there with Adames, Chapman, Yaz, and Bailey, but not much going on in the lower part of the order. What do you think, Smokey?
I think they actually, I think they'll be really good. So Jung-Hoo Lee was injured last year. He had that shoulder injury. He's going to be back. He's going to be healthy. I think he's going to make a difference. And Julio Ramos, like one of their biggest prospects. I mean, I remember watching him and being like, this kid's good, and he's just going to get better. I think he's a really good player. I really think that lineup. I think that lineup could end up being really good, and even Tyler Fitzgerald at second. He looks like a really good player too.
Yeah. It's they got everybody in this lineup has the chance to be decent. So there's no huge holes or anything, but I think there's a lot of question marks too. And when you consider the other teams in this division, I don't know if I could rank this batting order higher than the Diamondbacks, Padres, or Dodgers. So I think it is probably the fourth best batting order in the division. What do you think? How does it rank with the other guys?
I think they're middle of the pack. I think Adames and Bailey and Chapman are gonna hit some dingers. I think Ramos is gonna take a big step forward. Lamont Wade is a little bit more of a veteran now. He's a decent on base guy.
Yeah.
And Jung-Hoo Lee is too. I think they got some table setters, and I think they have some guys that are going to hit dingers. And Patrick Bailey is, man, he looks like a really good young hitter.
Yeah. All right. So you're a little more optimistic about the batting order than me, but I certainly think it's a good batting order, just not their strength. So this rotation is quite good. Webb is one of the most underrated pitchers in the bigs. He's a very good pitcher. Robbie Ray won the Cy Young a couple years ago. Has been injured since then, hoping to come back. Verlander, he's JV. Don't say he can't do anything. He's also 42, 43 at this point. We'll see. He certainly has the upside to be great. I like that 1-2-3 for sure. Just a couple of older injured guys in Ray and Verlander, but overall a very good playoff rotation. I think. What do you think?
I like them, and Hayden Birdsong and Jordan Hicks.
Oh, Jordan Hicks, yeah. Forgot about him.
Really good young pitchers.
Yeah.
I think the key here is they're deep. The key is, yes, they do have some older pitchers that have injury problems, but they do have some really good young pitchers coming up behind them.
Yeah. Very strong rotation. Definitely. Again, this is a tough division, so I'm not sure I can rank this above maybe third or so in the division, but it's definitely a strength of theirs. And then speaking of strengths, I really like this bullpen a lot. Walker, Rogers, that is the righty submarining twin, Doval, Sean Jelly, the tallest man alive, I'm seeing a lot of really good bullpen pieces here. I can definitely see this as being a very solid bullpen that could kind of make up for maybe a little lack of depth at the down at the bottom of the rotation. What do you think?
Yeah, I think the bullpen has the potential to be above average. I think it's a very solid bullpen.
Yeah. All right. So yeah, the Giants team this is a good team. How many wins are you thinking?
I think they'll win 85.
85 wins. All right. I actually put the wrong numbers last time. I had 58 for the Rockies. All right, you got 85 wins. Yeah, I think in another division I could see them winning maybe 90 games, but just when you consider they're up against a bunch of other good teams, I think that mid 80s is maybe where you'd have to realistically top them out. I'll go with 86 wins. But yeah, definitely a good team stuck in a tough division. I think all would agree on that. All right, let's take a peek at these Diamondbacks. I really like this outfield. They got a lot of young, athletic guys. Corbin Carroll, he could win the MVP in any given year. Had a little bit of a slump after a great rookie season. Jake McCarthy, very good center fielder. Gurriel, veteran out there in left. Eugenio Suarez, he hit 49 homers one year. Great power there at the hot corner. Ketel Marte, one of the most underrated players in the bigs. This guy is like consistently putting up like 5 WAR seasons, and nobody knows who he is. Perdomo, excellent shortstop. Our buddy Josh Naylor at first. Very likable player, hits a lot of dingers. Moreno, good catcher. This is a very good batting order. I could see all of these guys putting up 2 to 3 WAR at least. Ironically, I think Naylor might be the worst player, and he's a good player. I don't know. I like this lineup a lot. I think they're going to score a lot of runs. What do you think?
Yeah, I think they will too. I think the really cool thing about their outfield is they've got Grichuk, they've got Alex Thomas, they've got some backups out there.
Yeah, Pavin
They've got
Smith.
the young kid, Jordan Lawler coming up, and they've got Gurriel can play some first. If Naylor needs a day off, and Gabe Marino, he's a good young catcher too.
Yeah, man.
Very good lineup.
I could see 3 or 4 of these guys getting MVP votes, and Marte or Carroll, finishing pretty high up.
That's a relentless lineup.
So this rotation, man, Corbin Burns, just an ace. Zach Gallen, an ace. That 1-2 punch right there is lethal. That's the kind of rotation that'll take you really deep in the playoffs. And then Merrill Kelly, very good pitcher. That's Erod, right, the lefty from the Red Sox and Tigers. Certainly,
that's him.
He's had an up and down career, but when he's good, he is good. Jomo, who knows what to expect out of that guy? He's been really good. He was awful last year. Maybe having a full spring training this year will set him straight, and hopefully the awkwardness with the front office is, they can be professional and put it behind them. Brandon Fott, a highly thought rookie. Man, this is a great rotation. They got a 1-2 punch at the top. They got depth. Man, this is. I don't know if I like their rotation or their batting order more. What do you think?
They're both really good. I feel that if they were in any other division, they'd finish in first.
Yeah, this would win. They'd be the easy first place team in like 3 other divisions, but not this one.
Absolutely.
All right, and this bullpen, definitely some good pieces. The veteran Joe Mantiply, Kendall Graveman, the longtime closer. Is that Shelby Miller? I think so. Kevin Ginkel, AJ Puck. Thompson's a really good veteran reliever. Certainly a solid bullpen. Like it's definitely above average. Any words on the bullpen?
Yeah, I mean they're right there. It's a good bullpen. They got some lefties. They got some righties. I think they're definitely average to a little bit above average. There's no FIPS below 3, so there's no dominant pitchers. They may cough up a couple extra games that they really don't need to because the bullpen's not elite, but it's a really good bullpen.
Yeah, and with that rotation, you don't need the best bullpen in the universe. So I'll take an average bullpen with a rotation like that any day. Man, all right. So how many wins you thinking for the D-backs?
92.
92. Yeah, they're see like they'd win 100 games if they played in a couple other divisions, but when you got to go up against the Dodgers and Padres, it's harder to get that many wins. But with the unbalanced or the balanced schedule, they're not playing as many games against those guys. So I think they could get 95 wins. I'll take the over on that. Whoops, did it backwards again. 95 for me, 92 for you. All right. Let's look at the San Diego Padres. Again, this is one of the best batting orders there is, and the defense too. Man, this is a very impressive lineup, top to bottom. I mean, Hayward is arguably one of the best defensive outfielders of his generation. Jackson Merrill, like he only didn't win the Rookie of the Year because he was up against Paul Skeens, but he was like 5 WAR last year, just hit 20-some dingers, played Gold Glove defense and center. Like this guy's going to be a superstar. Tatis, of course, in right. You know, he could win the MVP in a year now. Bogarts at short. I think he's not as good a defensive shortstop as he has been. But, Manny Machado is still Manny, another potential MVP candidate. Cronenworth moving back to second after Kim left. They got Iglesias to play utility infield. Arise at first. He's not known for his glove, but he's just the best contact hitter there is right now. War doesn't like him very much, but I think he's a great guy to have at the top of the order. It's like hitting, things like foul balls and just being pesky. That doesn't show up in War, and he's a really good hitter. And then Campusano and Elias Diaz, it's a solid catching crew there. Again, this might be about as close to the best batting order as we've seen so far. I see a potential top 10 MVP player at 5 or 6 positions. What do you think?
Yeah, it's a top 10 batting order for sure. Any batting order that has Jackson Merrill, Manny Machado, Bogarts, Tatis, and even Luis Arias. He's a good hitter. He's pesky. He sees a lot of pitches. He wears down the opposing pitchers. He may not hit a lot of dingers, but he's a good piece to have. And they've got Connor Joe, which I feel is a really underrated signing. He can kind of jump all over the field. He can produce. It's a good batting order. It's one of the best in the majors.
Yeah, and like these guys are all like everyday type players, so like you don't even need your depth to step into much. All right, this rotation again: Dylan Cease, ace. Yu Darvish, ace. Michael King, he was so good last year, kind of came out of nowhere, converted reliever. He was terrific. And you got guys like Nick Pivetta, certainly very good pitcher, kind of bounces around team to team, but he's a good guy to have on there. I definitely like that playoff 1-2-3 there of Cease, King, and Darvish. Pivetta, he's a good guy to have around. I would say this is certainly an excellent top 10 rotation. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, the top 3, Dylan Cease, Michael King, and Yu Darvish are going to be really good. Pivetta and Kyle Hart and Matt Waldron, I mean, we'll see. Like, I would say, like, this is the piece of the team that, if they start taking on water, it's a very, very tough division. I don't know if they'll be able to hang.
Yeah, So the bullpen, also, I like this bullpen a lot. Not a lot of superstar names, but Robert Suarez is an excellent closer. Jason Adam, Morihone, Hoeing, Jacob, certainly all very good bullpen pieces. I definitely see this as an above-average bullpen with a pretty high floor. I think there's a lot of depth here, and again, no big names, but certainly some guys that you can really count on. And between the rotation and this bullpen, I think they're going to prevent a lot of runs. What do you think about this bullpen, Smokey?
I think exactly what you think. It's average to slightly above average. The one thing I keep noticing is that The FIPS aren't really getting down there. The lowest one I see is 3.31. With that rotation, the bullpen should have been better. And we kept reading in the offseason that the Padres didn't have money. It looks like, even though they signed Pavetta, it looks like they didn't have enough money for the bullpen. And it should be a little better.
All right. So how many wins are you thinking here for the Padres, Smokey?
I'd give them 88.
88. All right. I'm definitely going to take the over on that. I think they're as good as the Diamondbacks. I'll give them 95 wins also, just like the Diamondbacks. I think it's a very strong team with no weaknesses and a lot of depth, and they're going to win a lot of ball games. All right, the elephant in the room, the LA Dodgers. How do we even begin? They extended Tommy Edman and re-signed Teoscar Hernandez. They picked up Blake Snell, Roku Sasaki. Shohei Ohtani's coming off the IL to be a pitcher again. They won 108 games last year, and they're only getting better. Only 98 last year, but they felt like more, and they're certainly the team to beat. So again, just looking over this lineup, just like superstars everywhere you look. I mean, Freddie Freeman, Will Smith, Mookie Betts moving to short, which I love. I mean, he could put up a 10 WAR season if he gets that positional adjustment and hits like he always has. And Teoscar and Conforto, Edman, Pajes, they got Kike Hernandez, one of the best, and Chris Taylor, another great bench guy. Man, there's like 3 or 4. Shohei, of course, at DH. There's like 3 or 4 of these guys that could win the MVP or finish top 5. I don't know. I don't even know what I can say about this batting order that hasn't been done to death. It's just the best. What do you think? Any words?
Nope. It's the best.
Yeah.
It's the best in the majors.
It's the best.
They did a lot of work in the off season with signing guys, and it's a really good order. I don't have anything to pick apart about it.
Yeah. All right. Speaking of the best, how about the rotation? They got 3 or 4 guys that have won an MVP or a Cy Young or finished really high up. I mean, Blake Snell, Yamamoto, Glasnow, Roki Sasaki, Ohtani. Like that top 5 is the best. And then depth-wise, they got Tony Gonsolin, Clayton Kershaw, Bobby Miller, Landon Knack, Dustin May. They got like 10 guys that could be at worst a number 2 or number 3. I mean, like I don't even know what to say about this rotation that hasn't already been said. It's like it's the best and it's absurd. What do you think?
I agree. Nothing to add.
Yeah, and then similar, looking at that bullpen, they got like 4 or 5 aces in there. They got like Tanner Scott, Kirby Yates, Trinan, Vesia, Banda, Kopech. And the guys that don't make the rotation are probably going to be really good relievers. Again, I mean, it lacks a true superstar, but like it's just so good. And like, I don't get how you can beat this team. They just got like they got depth and they got peaks and strengths everywhere. Man, it's absurd. I don't. What do you think about this bullpen? Anything to add?
It's really good. They signed a lot of guys this off season, and I don't see any holes.
Yeah, they spent a lot of money and they're going to win a lot of games. How many games? What do you think, Smokey?
I'm going to go 109.
109. Yeah, I could see that. Man, I'll take the under and say 108 just to make things interesting. But yeah, they're going to win way over 100 games. If they don't, it's going to be a huge disappointment. But I don't get how they can't because they're so deep. There's no room for them to not win 100-something games.
Agree.
All right. Well, this will be a very exciting division, and I'm glad that my team is not in it. Thank you for watching. Give us a like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. All right. Thanks, Smokey. See you next time.
See you next time. Take it easy.